guys? Welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to do an email that was sent from a subscriber. This is my guy. He is 33 years old. He is from India, a professor in physics, I believe. And he shares his story how ultimately he has the absolute last laugh after his former fiancée completely ruined their engagement. I mean, she did him wrong in so many ways. And I thought it'd be a really good story to go over here, making the point, guys, that it is so crucial that guys have a mentor on multiple fronts in life, but also when it comes to women. The problem is most guys don't have that, and they make horrible, humiliating mistakes. And this guy, you're going to see, does that. However, he does learn in the end, and he's really turned his life around multiple parts. And it's also really important, guys, the number one theme in this whole story, and you must listen to this to really hit home, so you don't do this yourself, you relationship guys, is don't chase people that don't reciprocate. In other words, you have a girlfriend and she's pulling away. Don't chase after her. You're only going to make it worse. And not to mention, she'll lose all respect for you. You reciprocate. Girl backs away, you back away. She moves forward, you move forward. You get the point. And when it's as clear as day that someone's actions show they're not interested and obviously are turned off by you, listen to that. Don't focus on how she was a year ago. Focus on how she is right now. It's key. That being said, he says here, Namaste, strong, successful male. I'm a regular viewer of yours from India. I'll call myself Vikram. I'm 33 years old and currently work as a professor at a college. I grew up mostly in a rural part of India. After finishing junior college, I got into a reputable university in, I can't pronounce the name of that place. I chose physics as my major. My brother-in-law offered that I stay with them, so I lived with my sister's family at the time. After starting university, I struggled socially because it was my first time living in a city, and everything felt unfamiliar. I'm also not naturally social. Fortunately, my brother-in-law's younger brother attended the same school, and through him, I made some friends. Slowly, I began opening up and connecting with classmates in my courses. That is where I met her. I will call her Maya. Okay, enter Maya. Now, bro, good for, number one, congratulations on being a professor. That's awesome. And also, that was great that you left your comfort zone out in the country and came to the big city. I mean, I'm sure that was scary, but you did it. That's key here. Maya was a good student, but like me, not very social. So we didn't talk much initially. There was a small shop near campus that sold very good Dabali. I often went there, and I noticed that she did too. Eventually, I overcame my social anxiety and started talking to her. Later, I asked her out, she agreed, and we started dating. Well, good. Again, going out of your comfort zone. This is good. So far. Maya wanted to keep our relationship secret because she said her family wouldn't approve of her dating and would want her to focus on her studies. Okay, here we go. Now, this is possible over there. Cultures are different. It's possible. If that was over here, I'd be like, no fucking way. Whatever there possibly, but still, there's some things here with this. Well, our relationship remained hidden for years. Holy shit. We both completed our BScs in 2014 and enrolled in MSc programs at the same university. We were getting older, and my family began talking about marriage. I discussed it with Maya, and we decided to tell her parents about our relationship. Man, after all those years, now you're telling them. My parents approved and gave me their blessing. But Maya's parents did not like me at all. Now we know why she didn't introduce you. They were wealthy and highly educated, with many family members living abroad as NRIs, non-resident Indians, meaning Indians living overseas. Her father is an architect and her mom is a gynecologist. My family background was different. My father runs a couple local businesses like shops and farms. My mother is a homemaker. We were not poor, but we were not as wealthy as them, and at the time, only my estranged uncle and I had any higher education in the family. Well, that can happen anywhere, but I do believe, from what I've heard of your culture, that's definitely a major issue. They initially rejected me completely, but eventually accepted the relationship because of Maya's insistence. Still, they remained hostile. Whenever I visited, they spoke to me with a sense of superiority. Our parents only met twice, and during one meeting, my father walked out after her mother made a passive-aggressive comment about his job, and later tried to dismiss it as a joke. Bro, I get you were with Maya, and her actions seemed like she was a good fit at the time, but that ain't no family to marry into. And then she's disrespecting your father because of his job. Fuck them. I almost confronted her mother, but Maya calmed me down. I loved her, so I let it go. Smack! I wouldn't have. I convinced myself that as long as Maya was with me, I could tolerate her parents. She later apologized to my father on their behalf. She was a good girlfriend until she wasn't. I'll give her credit for that. Well, she was seemingly a good girlfriend. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes, given what I know is going to happen here. Well, we got engaged and planned to marry once we secured jobs. In 2016, we graduated university. I quickly got a job as a high school physics teacher, and Maya initially wanted to work as well, but her parents pushed her to continue studying. Our university offered a PhD program, which she first considered, but later she got accepted into a very competitive program in Canada. When she told me, I hesitated because it meant 5 years apart, and I could not follow her. 5 years? Holy crap. Screw that. 5 years, what the hell's the point of being together? It's like people in that situation will usually marry first, then do something like that, or you go along with her, or whatever. She could do something here. Obviously, her parents are really pushing her for the higher education. And likely with the higher education, all of a sudden you'll be seen as a fucking peasant in her eyes. Well, let's see how this goes. Let's see if an Indian long-distance relationship is just as a mess as a long-distance relationship in the West. Our family was funding her education, but mine would not. My late grandfather, the head of our family, was very traditional and strongly opposed family members leaving the country. It's your fucking life, and this is the 21st century. My uncle had gone to Spain to study and later converted to Christianity with his wife, which caused a family rift and led him being cut off. Despite knowing I couldn't join Maya, I wanted to support her and reassure her that distance wouldn't matter. My parents wanted us to marry before she left, but her parents insisted we marry after she returned. Looking back, they did me a favor. Yep. Question is, if you married, would she have gone? But then again, what happens is you guys are going to see, and holy shit, what you're going to see and hear, that had to be her who she was all along. So in 2017, she left for Canada. We stayed in touch frequently despite the time difference. I couldn't visit because it was expensive, and I earned around 25,000, rupees per month, roughly $275 back then. She visited India a couple times each year, and initially she seemed happy to see me. After about a year, things changed. She stopped calling regularly and often ignored my calls. When she answered, she sounded bored. When she came home, her eagerness to see me was gone. There you go. Always pay attention to people's actions, especially women. Not interested in seeing him, bored when they talk on the phone, no doubt missing calls, not making any effort, and you're going to spend 5 years doing this shit? Not worth it, man. The problem is, clearly this girl was his first serious girlfriend, and he was engaged to her, and our guy obviously didn't have a lot of experience with women, and obviously a very shy guy and all that. Maya was overweight most of her life. After moving to Canada, she joined a gym and started losing weight. I was happy for her health, but knowing what I know now, this was probably the time she started receiving attention from other men. And that's what started the distance. Whenever I asked about her behavior, she blamed academic stress. I believed her. In 2018, I returned to university to pursue my own doctorate, so I could relate. Still, her behavior worsened. Yes, a giant workload of school and all that can be stressful, but not to take their shit out on you. If she truly loved you, she wouldn't be behaving like this. And oh yeah, the weight loss. That's great she's losing weight, but why wasn't she losing weight when she was with you? She's in a different country, different culture. Sounds like Maya is preparing to go for her hose phase. Now listen to all this, guys. This just gets worse and worse and worse in terms of her behavior. This is why you always pay attention to how a woman acts. She stopped calling altogether and treated my calls as an annoyance. She called me clingy and berated me without reason. You should be dumping her, dude. Cut your losses and move on. I felt I was losing her. No, you lost her. Whenever she returned home, I tried harder. I was taking her out more and more and buying her gifts. Smack! She's pulling away and you're trying harder. That's insane. You should have been backing away. You should have dumped her, but at least back away. That's going to turn her off more. But she started acting passive-aggressive like her parents. She became a different person. She used to love roses. Now they were too generic. I remember how she liked to go to this family restaurant. Now that place was too cheap for her. And the whole time we were there, she would just complain about that place. Everything I did was wrong to her. There have been times when she returned home and we didn't have any physical contact whatsoever. Bro, God, the universe, is showing you right there, this ain't working. Why aren't you dumping her? She ain't acting like a good fiancée, future wife. Well, then maybe she is acting like a future wife, future bitch wife. There were times when I got frustrated and we had arguments, but every time I end up apologizing. Smack! Because you were so afraid to lose her, and therefore you put up with all that crap, man. That's the problem when guys fear, the fear that leads everything, and the attachment. You could replace her. Last time I checked, there's a lot of freaking people living in India, and half are women, I would imagine, close to that. You have options, dude, if you really thought about it. Then 2020 came along. My parents and grandparents caught COVID. My parents recovered, but my already ill grandfather passed away. My grandpa recovered somewhat. Oh, your grandma passed away. My bad. My grandfather recovered somewhat, but his health declined. Maya stopped meeting my parents a while back. She used to be close with them, so occasionally my parents wanted to see her when she got back. She didn't want to, and I kept making excuses for her. I did not want my parents to hate her. When my grandmother died, I was distraught. In one conversation with Maya, I remember her telling me to stop being a crybaby. My grandma just died, and I was not even allowed to be upset. Wow, she's a big heart on her. Dude, well, proving don't cry in front of your girl, but have some fucking sympathy, bitch. No, she the thing is, dude, this is beyond, she's just so disgusted with you. Why she couldn't just break it off with you? I mean, really? Just break it off with you and that'd be that? No, she stays with you and messes with you. But you should have been dumping her. Well, because of travel restrictions and her studies, we did not meet again until 2022. Despite not seeing each other for 2 years, her attitude towards me remained unchanged. Still, I was happy to see her. You were happy for your table scraps of her attention and treatment of you. Dude, have self-respect, bro. Don't worry, guys. I know you're frustrated, but it will get better. He has to go hit rock bottom and suffer a lot to wake up. She was nearing the completion of her doctorate, and I expected her to return home. But she informed me she would stay in Canada longer as a postdoctoral researcher. This time it was not a conversation, more like she was informing me of a decision she made. I was unhappy but kept quiet, believing it was good for her career. In 2023, she returned to India for a special event. It's a major 9-day festival here. I plan to spend the first few days with my parents in the village and the rest with her where she lived. When I went to her parents' house to pick her up, she was with some people. There was one guy in her group, but the rest of them were girls, where 2 of them were foreigners, white, and they were her friends from Canada. I bet you she's sleeping with that guy. When she introduced me as her fiancée, I got some very odd looks from some of them. I didn't know what the look meant back then. They were probably laughing at me inside. I'll name the guy in the group, Rahul, and he was from Bangalore. Likely a rich kid, as he was wearing clothes that looked like they cost a couple times my salary from back then. He was behaving a little too friendly with me the entire time, smirking and put his hands around my shoulder like we were good friends. I also found it odd how warmly her parents were treating him. This jerk-off was sleeping with her, and he was loving the fact that you had no idea, and was putting his arms around like you're his buddy. He's an asshole. When we went out that night, he was acting a little too touchy with Maya. When I tried to pull Maya aside and told her about my concerns, she lashed out at me. She called me insecure, and that Rahul, however you pronounce it, was her friend. Yeah, friend my ass. Like before, I chose to believe her. Maya decided that she didn't want to spend the rest of the event with me because of this. Yeah, because you're the bad guy. She's disrespecting, yeah, that guy is, and then she's making out through the bad guy here. Again, bro, why you put up with this shit for so long, I'll never understand. A few months later, I completed my doctorate. Congratulations. and soon after, my grandfather passed away. This time, I didn't call Maya for comfort, having learned from the past. My grandfather left most of his inheritance to my father, me, and my male cousins. The rest were left to my aunts, and he says, yes, India is sexist like that. And despite my uncle's refusal, my father shared half our portion with him. I supported this decision as that was the right thing to do. Even after that, we were left with a substantial amount. Though most of it were properties, in 2024, I sold a piece of land to my brother-in-law. Now that I didn't have to worry about money anymore, I wanted to visit Maya in Canada. Now you're going to go see her, huh? Because she'll be so happy to see you. Well, I'm sure you guys can probably expect doom and gloom from this journey, but if that's what it takes for our guy to wake up, then so be it. Listen to how well his trip to Canada is. I was able to obtain a temporary resident visa pretty quickly. I went to Canada in January 2025. I didn't inform her as I was planning to surprise her. After a 3-hour drive from the airport, I was at her apartment. 3 hours from the airport? Did you take dog sleds at the last part of the journey? Where the hell did she live? When she saw me, she seemed annoyed rather than happy. Well, given her treatment of you, what do you expect? Maybe I have gotten used to her behavior over the years, but it didn't hurt my feelings too much. Smack! Yeah, you're just a whipped puppy just accepting anything you can get from Maya. Bro, self-respect. God's sakes. I don't care how great the relationship supposedly was in the beginning. That was a different time period. The present, she's treating you like dog shit. Can you imagine being married to this? Is that what you wanted? I just think you had such an attachment and such a fear of being alone and such low opinion of yourself that you couldn't possibly get any other girl. This is what happens, guys, when guys don't think too highly of themselves and don't fucking learn how to behave around women and just basic lessons on human behavior. I'm on your side, bro, but I have to say this. I was tired of traveling and fell asleep almost immediately. When I woke up, I saw her dressing to go out. I asked where she was going, and she replied that she was going out for drinks with her friend. The dress she was wearing was a bit too revealing. I'd never seen her wear something like that. She ain't in India anymore, dude. I was planning to say something about this, but thinking that this would just cause another round of arguments. Plus, this was Canada, not India. So I didn't say anything. Smack! Not that it would have done anything, but still. When I asked her if I could tag along, she refused. She said my English is bad and I couldn't even understand what they would be talking about. Well, yes, my English is in fact not good, but not to that extent. I told her I was able to navigate to her apartment without any problem. I would at least be able to hold basic conversations. She just said that please don't embarrass me, and she left. She didn't return that night. I was concerned and called around 11 p.m., and she said she was going to crash at a friend's house. She returned at 8 o'clock in the morning the next day without much conversation and left for work. One afternoon, I decided to clean her apartment as I had nothing else to do. Smack! What? Who are you, Mr. fucking Belvedere? Indian Mr. Belvedere? Now you're fucking cleaning her place? God's sakes, man. When I moved the sofa, I found a torn wrapper of Durex. Oh, a condom wrapper, huh? Gee, where'd that come from? I immediately called her. When I explained what I found, she tried to gaslight me into thinking it was something left behind at my previous tenants. Sure, Maya. I didn't believe it. She was renting a furnished apartment, but she was there for a while now. The floor underneath the sofa was too clean for it to be left behind by previous tenants. Seeing that I was not believing her, she made up another lie. She said one of her friends crashed last month. She might have left it. I had no way to prove she was lying this time, so I decided to believe her. But my gut was telling me something was very wrong. You're damn right something's wrong. Look how she's been treating you all these years. You think she's not fucking somebody else? Lots of somebody else's? That night I couldn't sleep a wink. Unlike me, she was sleeping like a baby without a care in the world. Yeah, because she got a good workout hooking up with Chad and Tyrone. I picked up her phone and went to the living room. Sitting on that same sofa, I decided to go through her phone. When I saw that, it completely destroyed me. She had Tinder installed. There you go. There was an Instagram account that I had no clue about, flirty messages with multiple guys. Scrolling back, I saw she even had 3 serious boyfriends. I saw her exchanging nudes and sexting with them. Maya had a whole dating life here, and I, her fiancé, didn't have a clue about it. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry for what you went through. But if this is what it took for you to wake up to reality and get out of this, it had to happen. I mean, you're a professor, for heaven's sake. Now, there are people that are great in their field of study, but no offense, could be a tad bit lacking in the common sense department when it comes to street smarts and human interactions. That was you then. Hopefully it's not you now. You had to see this. Yeah, she's an asshole, a giant one. You didn't help yourself. And the thing is, you just kept turning her off more and more and more. But don't worry, we're done. Almost done. Well, Rahul was not one of those boyfriends. He was just somebody she was hooking up with. Oh, that makes you feel so much better. At that moment, those looks from him and her friends made sense. Her friends knew all about it. She was very loud in their group chat. There was one message I remember very clearly. It was when she said how things are getting serious with this one guy. He's Korean, whose name I'm not even going to try to pronounce. The day she didn't come back, she went on a date with him and spent the night at his place. There you go. I tried to scroll back to see when it started. Though I didn't find anything exact, the oldest proof I found was in 2019. She was cheating on me for at least 6 years. Dude, she could have been cheating on you when she was there in India. You just never know. I knew there were a lot of red flags, but I decided to ignore all of them because I loved her and trusted her. Smack! I even saw some of her messages with her mom where she was bad-mouthing me. Her parents knew about what she was doing in Canada. Really think her parents knew she was on Tinder? I think they knew she was seeing somebody, but not necessarily being her hose phase in Canada. I wouldn't think parents like that would approve of that, but they didn't approve of you. And the whole time, she's stringing you along. They're all fucking evil. They were even actively encouraging her to find somebody better than me. I felt like the biggest fool in the world. Well, dude, I can't sugarcoat it. You were pretty much a big fool. But that doesn't mean you have to be a fool forever. And I want to point out, brother, there are plenty of fools all around the world. Fools from England, Ireland, France, Brazil, Colombia, Nebraska, whatever. Shout out to the Nebraska brothers. I read that part. I was scrolling through her phone until 7 o'clock in the morning. I didn't realize how long I was sitting there until Maya snatched her phone out of my hands and asked what the hell I was doing. I blew up at her. There was a lot of shouting and cursing. Well, I don't blame you, but that just gives her an excuse to say, you're abusive, so be careful. I want to know how she could do this to me. Why didn't she just break up with me? That's a good question. Why did she waste so much of my life? I never got any answers. Big fucking surprise. She ended up kicking me out of her apartment. She even threatened to call the cops if I did not leave right then and there. I left and stayed at a hotel that day. Within an hour of me leaving, she blocked me everywhere. I returned home the next day. Damn, dude, that is painful. That was painful to listen to. I'm sure it's painful for all you guys to listen to. But we have to listen to this to show you just how low a man can be treated. And how a man can put themselves in the position to be treated so badly. But you had to go through that to finally see and accept reality, bro. Well, I was cooped up in my flat for a while after that. I was depressed and didn't want to talk to anybody. My parents and friends were sad for me when they found out that I broke up with her. Though some of them felt relieved because, unlike me, they could see how she treated me. Nonetheless, I felt like crap. I lost motivation for everything and felt like ending myself at moments. Well, bro, in moments like that, people either do one of two things. They either sink or they swim. Fortunately, I know you choose to swim. It is not worth ending yourself over a chick. And I know it's more than that. It was looking like a fool and publicly humiliated. You were all those things. But the best way to come out of that is come out swinging. And I don't mean literally. You pick yourself up. You get back on track. You exercise, you join a gym, you get yourself in shape, you hang out with people that care, you focus on your job, your career, time with family, and you move on like it didn't matter. And ultimately, you'll have the last laugh. And oh yeah, as we all remember, they always come back. At that moment then, the R-Pill community saved my life. Aha! Guess what? Our guy got on YouTube and found some good channels. YouTube one day decided to recommend a video from Better Bachelor. I started watching his videos and eventually came across other R-Pill YouTube channels like yours. Better Bachelor, Joker, puts on a good show. He does good stuff. Obviously more focused on news articles and stuff like that. That was a good one for you to find. In India, marriage feels like an obligation rather than a choice, so life without it seems strange at first. But I eventually realized there is more to life than finding a wife. You're darn right about that, amigo. I was no longer depressed. I started going to the gym and got a better job. Bingo! Focusing on your purpose, success, ambition, realizing you don't have to get married. But I understand your culture. If I'm not mistaken, that's a big deal. Well, this Valentine's Day, I got a message on WhatsApp from an all-too-familiar phone number. Who could it be? By the way, guys, when I read this earlier, I'm like, Valentine's Day? What do you mean Valentine's Day in India? Well, according to Professor Google, Valentine's Day is very much celebrated in Canada, and that's where she spent so long at, so it's understandable that she was into that. And some parts of India that celebrate Valentine's Day, especially the younger crowd. I mean, any chance for girls to get attention, they'll take it. So that being said, an all-too-familiar phone number. It was Maya, asking how I was doing. She said nothing. She said she was back in India and asked if I wanted to meet up like nothing happened. Women and accountability. She was beyond horrible to you for years. And want to get together? Because in her mind, you're going to be there. At the airport, on your fucking knees, wanting to clean her apartment again. Amongst many other things. Little does she know, you've changed. My God. The sheer audacity of this woman was breathtaking. But like you say, they always come back. I was angry, but I didn't engage, and I just blocked her. Good for you. Nobody would blame you if you told her to go fuck an elephant. But regardless, blocking her is just as good. She probably couldn't believe that you were blocking her. I guess those prospects in Canada didn't work out. Or maybe she's been eating a lot of naan and, good Indian food and got fat again. I don't know what. My brother says I'm angry, but I don't think I am. My perspective on women has changed, but I don't believe all women cheat. That would insult my mother and sisters as well. However, some aspects of dating culture here no longer appeal to me. Passport bros think women from third world countries are docile and feminine, but that's not necessarily true in India. I've heard that true about India. In fact, you got a lot of masculine broads there that try to run the show, and feminism has impacted it. Many women here wear the pants in relationships, which I don't find very attractive. I think this results from two issues: the rise of feminism in India and confusion about masculinity. I know that sounds ironic coming from me. I consider myself changed now. Many men here fall into two extremes. Either they are A, wife beaters, or they are just yes dears. Neither is good. Men, especially in rural areas, here are commonly aggressive and abusive towards their wives. Then these people go to school. School teaches them to completely remove that aggressive behavior rather than channeling it in a more healthy way, which then produces passive men who say yes, dear, to everything. That dynamic affects relationships and contributes to the problems I see. Overall, I don't see the point of marriage anymore. Then they'll get married. And notice he said pretty much things boil down to one or two extremes. Violent or a yes dear type. The trick is to find the happy medium. You can be a man and stand up for yourself and have traditional masculinity, which is good, but also be a good man. I sometimes make snide comments about marriage, though I'm trying to stop. That's probably what gives me the reputation of being angry. I do think divorce laws in India are better than in places like the US, but I don't see myself marrying. My parents and friends try to convince me otherwise, but they are not doing a very good job at it. Dude, after what you've been through, I don't blame you. Even if my story never makes it to your video, writing this out has made me feel a lot lighter. You probably have no idea how much you and others like you have helped me, but I wanted to end this by saying thank you to you very much for what you have done. Regards, Bikram. Well, man, that was one hell of a story, and, you made a lot of mistakes. But the thing is, your mistakes, guys make them all over the world. Again, Brazil, England, Ireland, Nebraska, all over the fucking place. It's the same thing. If men had better role models teaching them these things when they're young, they wouldn't have to suffer so much as an adult. But I'll look at it like this. You suffered greatly, and you learned a lot, and your face must be very sore for me smacking you. But it was all with good intent to help you out. Your story, well, my God, showed a lot of guys how not to behave, And there's no shame. because now you have learned so much and improved yourself. But I assure you, sir, Professor, I'm going to call you Professor because you earned that. And that's awesome. Professor, you will be tested one day, because the day may come, sooner or later, you're not interested in marriage now, or probably relationships, but the day may come that you might see some beautiful gal that catches your fancy, and you might want to start seeing her, having fun, getting laid, and you'll be tested to see if you learned anything, because it may be very easy, the old ingrained wired behavior comes out, and you don't want to behave like you did before. You don't want to be like you described the guys out in the country like that, but you got to have the balance between being the asshole and the good guy. Right in the middle. A guy who stands up for himself, goes for what he wants, sets boundaries, enforces boundaries, but also, you get the point. There's nothing wrong with that. To some people say it is. And when you learn that balance, you're going to be all right. But I guarantee you'll be tested. And there's lots of important lessons in this story, guys. I can go on forever. Don't do long-distance relationships. Don't chase someone that's running away from you. Don't pursue and treat someone like the queen. They treat them like the queen. They'll treat like a peasant. No sure way to get a girl turned off and repulsed by you is her backing away and you chasing after her and rewarding her for treating you like dog shit. I can go on and on here. But the point is, if you learn from this, that's good, and you're still 33. You got your whole life ahead of you. So if you take everything you've learned by making mistakes, things you've learned in this channel, maybe books you've read, things you've observed, that will greatly help you down the road. But I assure you, you'll be tested one day, because I have a hard time believing you're going to go the rest of your life and getting any nookie. And I'm sure your parents will be bugging the shit out of you about taking a bride one day. But if you don't want to, you don't want to. It's 21st century. But anyhow, I'm glad you're doing better, and I find it hilarious. Obviously, Maya's back in India. The thing is, Maya's now probably, I guess, late 20s, maybe early 30s at this point. And if I'm not mistaken, in your country, that's considered to be like leftovers. So that's probably why she's reaching out to you, because probably she's having a hard time meeting somebody. Ha, ha, ha. Meanwhile, you can get a bride probably whenever you want to. So you have the last left. So great story, man. I'm sorry what you went through, but no shame. It's okay. All of us go through this one way or another, but 6 years, man, goddamn. So I wish you the best. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Be sure to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.